Oh Lord, we back, baby. My F1 car has totally turned into a glorified parts holder right now. No joke, we spent at least $20,000 in parts in the last month. Big order from Summit. There's our headers, there's pistons and rods, cross member, oil pan, everything to put this 5.7 into this Mustang. Now this is only a third of the boxes that showed up. The rest of them are still in the house. And stuff is still coming in. We've got like fuel pumps, intake manifold, Holley ECU, like big ticket items still coming in. So it's getting real. But now that we've got our oil pan over here, we can put the oil pan on this thing, attach the transmission to this thing, and finally put this thing in there, start building some engine mounts. I also just want to take a second to add our True North Turbo 88mm. This is a Gen 2 wheel. We have a Gen 3 wheel in them now. We basically just want to see how fast it can go, so we put it in the hands of our friend Dennis Drummond. Went on a 4.6 mod motor, and that damn thing went like 7.7s in the quarter mile. Something I never could have done, but he made that TNT 400 go 7.7s in the quarter mile in a 3,200 pound street car. And the proof is in the pudding, boys. What more do you need? True North Turbos, go check it out, blackshipindustries.ca. Wastegates, blow-off valves, turbos, everything you need there. Go check us out. And it's actually so nice out that we have the door open, which is huge and like a big motivational game changer. We're gonna flip this thing over and we're getting the oil pan put on it right away. We don't need to put all the oil pan pieces in it because the engine still needs to come apart. But we're going to put enough on that it's an oil pan. I thought that was self-explanatory. That's the first time I've seen a Holley pan design like this, but this Holley pan actually has an O-ring the whole way around it. That's actually really nice. Anyways, we're just putting it on here. It is going to be rear sump now. Should. I love how these Holley pans are already set up for twin turbos as well. Like, that is super nice. The pan is on. Before we go any further, we got to take this piece of metal that came from Princess Auto, so it's probably not actual metal. It's probably like, I don't know, something that came out of China, but we're gonna use it anyways because it's 1/4 inch thick. And we've got to build the little plates right here for our engine mounts. So we're gonna build 2 identical plates, as close as I can because I'm not perfect and I don't have like a CNC cutter. Oh my God, an arc droid thing would be so convenient right now. Too bad I don't have one. Anyways, we're gonna make our own plates out of the questionable steel. I don't even know if you can mess up steel. Can you mess up steel? You probably could. There's probably like air bubbles in it or something. Anyways, cut out 2 plates, get those bolted on, and then we can put the transmission on. Yeah, I just vibe to music when I'm in here. These center punches suck shit. Just remember, there's someone out there just as good as plowing your mom as this thing is as plowing holes in metal. So just like that, but your mom. I think it broke the drill bit off, actually. Okay, maybe if your drill bit's too small, you're not really good at plowing moms, but like, for most people, not me, but everybody else. Turns out it was just our one-time use Canadian Tire drill bits that sucked. So I just jammed a 1/4 inch drill bit in there that is cobalt, and it just plows through it like right away. I don't think it's working. Okay, so let's see. I got some bolts. Hey. Appears that my holes are definitely off a little bit because I don't know how to math. Why are they off so much though? I don't even know how I managed to miss it by that much, to be honest. I've got an idea, because clearly I'm stupid. I'm just gonna 3D print something that I can transfer punch. Computers are better at math than me. So I made the holes 1/4 inch on our little transfer piece here. The 1/4 inch transfer punch fits perfectly in there. We're gonna put that on there, and that should center up everything that we need to get all these holes punched. Okay, let's see this live. Does V2 fit? Looks a hell of a lot closer. pretty close. Just need to open up like, because pretty close. I just need to open up one hole a little tiny bit. Good thing I actually switched to the other side of the engine. This mount actually sits on the block itself, much more forward than the one on this side. So you can tell the back part of the mount here is like where this crease is in the oil pan, and you can see that that is more forward this way. So I'm gonna extend this one just a little bit longer so it matches the other side. We're gonna add like this much extra length to it just to make it even with the other one if we have to go and mount our tabs on this side of the plate. Engine and transmission are together. I did have a mishap where I dropped the friggin' transmission off the bucket. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like anything's broken, but stupid ass on my part. We're gonna get this settled in there, and then we're gonna get the transmission crossmember bolted up, the transmission bolted up, and then we're gonna let the engine oil pan like level itself out on the rack. We'll put a piece of like 1/4 inch something between there, so there's still a little bit of room between the rack and the oil pan, but we want it super low. And then we'll build our engine mounts. Sounds like a lot. In my brain, works out though. My brain checks out, yep. Yep, math checks out. Stiflers. I know you guys had good intentions, but American Pie came out and kind of ruined the name. This is our transmission crossmember. We're gonna bolt this thing up. It is adjustable a little bit forward and backwards. We're gonna try and get this thing to sit as far backwards as we can in this car, just because I want more room up in front between the radiator and the engine for the turbo and stuff, so it's the only reason I'm doing it. So they give you various spacers to go on either side of these bushings, and then this piece can actually move throughout the thing. So we're gonna put it in the furthest back position, I think, that we can. But you ain't gonna see it because I gotta be under the car. Not looking forward to it either. First predicament. The engine's sitting about this far back. You know what, that's almost good, but these don't line up with our engine mounts like at all. The other side's even worse than this side, so I might have to make some offset plates that way. The reason I can't go back any further is these stupid exhaust loops right here in the transmission crossmember are actually hitting the transmission case, so I can't even bolt the transmission up to this member because it hits this curved bar. So whoever designed that, I hate you. Downside of this whole situation, crossmember doesn't work. Upside, we got a new package from Rogue Fabrication, the same guys that we got our tubing bender from, and this is a tubing notcher. Perfect opportunity to use this thing because we're gonna have to cut up that old crossmember to make a new one. And I love the guys at Rogue Fab. They're always looking for new ways to innovate and make our lives as fabricators easier. So they're always making new products, always making me spend more money, but totally worth it to have awesome stuff in the garage. The link will be down below for stuff like this. The Versa Notcher. Sounds intense. And they've also got a YouTube channel, check them out. I ended up getting some deep hole saws. Oh my God, this thing is so much better than my last one. Look at this, manly. So this piece right here is gonna house our arbor, which is a sliding shaft that you put on the drill. This one has roller bearings in it. Every one that I've used prior to this, granted, they're just Amazon anyways, but instead of roller bearings, they use a brass bushing. So underneath this piece right here is a couple of brass bushings, and those things wear out, and I don't really like it because once they wear out, it cuts way off center. That one was actually bigger arbor, so that's like a 1-inch one. This one's like a 3/4 inch one, and this one wore out extremely quickly. But I've been mixing and matching both of these, depending on what I needed to cut. This thing, however, is going to replace both of them. and I just realized they were about to save me so much time. I didn't even realize there was a solution to a problem I had that I didn't know that I had. As you can tell, most hole saws are threaded in on the end. The problem with that is that once you start cutting metal, this puts a lot of torque on the arbor. So you basically have to put the arbor in a vise in order to get the hole saw off, and then a pair of like channel locks to really yank on that thing to try and like get it off, and you end up like ovaling these things out. The solution that I didn't know that I needed was that each hole saw is gonna get its own little piece here, and these little pieces actually just swap in and out the end of this thing. That is so convenient. Holy, like solutions I didn't know I needed that they just made. This one can go up to 60 degrees. I believe this one can go up to 60-degree angle. This one can go all the way up to 95 degrees. That would have been super handy on the F1 cart because I had a couple of tubes. Like this one, for example, where one of the notches was actually at like a 20-degree angle and the other one was at like a 70-degree angle, and I just really couldn't do it, and I had to do a lot of it by hand. Like look at the swing on that thing. I can cut all the way at a past 90-degree angle. That is, on this one, 103 degrees right now. I am so mind blown right now because for me, time is everything. Time is the one thing that I can't really gain back, and I have to be so efficient with my time because eventually it's gonna come to a point where I just have too many things. Time is so crucial to me, basically, in shorter terms. Essentially the problem we've got is the transmission hits here and here, so if this didn't do this to clear for the exhaust, it probably would fit, but unfortunately it does not. So once again, my bench is going to be turned into a jig. This might be a little unorthodox, or you might call me a genius, but we've got this bolted to the table right here. We're actually gonna weld the bottom part of that to the table, just like tack weld. And we're gonna tack weld it up here, so when we cut this inner tube out of this is gonna be floating, these ends are gonna be floating, all perfectly where they need to be, and then we just have to build the bar to come around and not hit our transmission. Gonna tack weld those pieces on and cut the middle tube out. And there's our floating jig. Time to bust out the Rogue Fab tubing bender that looks like a Pac-Man, and we're gonna bend up a piece of pipe. Like the good stuff though. So I cleared off my bench a little bit on the late side. If you couldn't tell, I'm a procrastinator. Here's our jig. Everything's like kind of locked into place here. It moves very slightly, but I think the holes will be enough. Like I've said before, I can't picture things in my head, so I'm not sure if this is going to work for the compound angle I need it to. So we're gonna cut a hole anyways and see what happens. I just really want to use this notcher. And I set it up this way so you guys can see as well. That's my drill sucking. So far, I like how sturdy it is. That is nice. And I also like the big angles that I can cut on. Well, let's see how close I got, because I'm never really a first try kind of guy. Well, I'm an idiot. With a hole saw, you can only cut at like one dimension. So you can only cut, if it's flat, 180 degrees either way or whatever. You can't go like 180 degrees and then tip the arbor up like a little bit. So what I needed to do really was I needed to have the piece of pipe in here flat and this at this angle, but I also needed it to tip this way a little bit to get the right angle. I should have known that because I've done that before, but I'm just stupid some days, so we'll have to make another piece of pipe. That was a waste of, I don't know, it's $10 a foot at, I don't know, 3 feet I made. 30 bucks. $30 mistake. Made a second one. We're just gonna hand coat this one by hand with this thing. The new cross member. That took way longer than I wanted to, and it might not even work, who knows. New cross member is done, all welded up, gotta let this cool. That was a lot of friggin' around for a part I just bought. Well, the good news is the transmission cross member fits now. The bad news is it's not as back as far as I'd like it to be, so. Now in order for me to move this back slightly, I'm going to notch this pipe just a little bit because there's a little piece on the transmission that just comes down and touches this piece right here. So we're just gonna notch this piece out just a little bit to allow for that piece. Plate that piece in, and then I'm gonna put a brace underneath as well to strengthen it some more. Just trying to get the engine back far enough. We're just trying to get the engine back far enough that this piece right here, when I build a plate on it straight up, will align with the end of this plate. So, like, we have tons of room to go backwards with the engine and transmission, and I would like to, because just I need more room for my turbo up front. Just a little finagling. All right, we're gonna hole saw a chunk out of this, hopefully. And here's our little piece we're gonna weld in there. Just give us a little bit of a notch. I hope that works. Professional notched. Now I don't think this is going to upset the structure too much just because I think this piece right here is gonna help hold that piece all together. I don't know. If we bend it, we'll find out real quick, I guess. Yesterday I did a lot of moving things around. My Mustang's in here, Gina's is just outside the door. The F1 car and the Honda Civic are over in the other garage now. Race season is coming up and it's time to get serious about losing really fast. This one needs a little bit of work. Gina's needs a torque converter and stuff, so I think this one's gonna go outside. Hers is gonna come in here. I'm gonna change the torque converter, put the anti-roll bar in it, miscellaneous things like that. This, I have to pull the engine out really quick because tomorrow I'm gonna bring this down to Edmonton. We're gonna get the chassis certified in it because we need a chassis cert. Yesterday I had to take my trailer, run everything around. It's just so annoying having to do that. It'd be nice that I could just pull things in and out of the garage if I had some space. We're not there yet. We're on the way there. So I gotta rip this engine out real quick. Again. Probably not for the last time either. Bad Hemi, bad. Dang, look at the daily wrap. Dang. BBJ, otherwise known as Big Booty Judy, hauling old Trusty here. And then yeah, like I said, Gina's car's out here, probing. That's a lot of Mustangs by accident. Oh, look, the two ponies back in their home. So I believe these are the two cars we're gonna take to Six Summer. It might even be Miles of Mayhem depending on how quick I can get the other car done. Like I said, the other car is going to get a cage cert now, and I hope it passes. It has an NHRA sticker on it. I looked it over. I couldn't see anything that would be like super fail it, like this chassis was at one point. I just hope it goes good, man. However, I have no room anymore again. I kind of need like a shelf up here. That way I can put like the bumpers and fenders and stuff up there. Woke up at 4 a.m. to make this drive. And 4.5 hours later, sure enough, we in Edmonton. Certified. Well, we passed, boys. The only thing is I drove 4.5 hours to get here. Took them 10 minutes to do it, cost me $250, and now I have to drive 4.5 hours home. So 9 hours for like 3 video clips. But I needed the chassis cert anyways to go faster than 10.0 in the quarter mile. I had a loonie in my pocket and I played this game. And I won. Well, all the Mustangs are back in their home. The two Foxes are in the garage. Mine's just outside the door. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna do the torque converter or some of the exhaust stuff. the coolant catch can. Some of the stuff that I put off doing last year, I'm gonna do that on this one, make sure this one's ready. This one's gonna go out, that one's gonna come in. We're gonna do the stuff we need to do to that one. Push rods, retorque the head, stuff like that. While we're building this one, I don't know how I ended up with so many Mustangs. I don't really like them that much, I guess, but what I do like is going fast, door's gonna slam, on a budget. And that's what the Mustang is. There's so much aftermarket for the Mustang. So the chassis itself has been sorted 1.5 million times over. If you wanna go 1.2 to the 60 foot, you do this suspension with this, like whatever. It's been proven, it's been done. That's why we're moving into different engines. That's why we're putting the HEMI in the Fox body, because you gotta do something a little bit different. I love you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys again soon. Peace easy. Get Debbie.